Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium here at Milford High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call. I'll be joined by Neil and Reisman a little bit later on in the broadcast as we get set to bring you yet another edition of Scarlet Hawks boys basketball. The boys team getting ready to welcome in another tough Davenport Division rival in the North Attleboro Rocketeers. These two teams are right up against one another in the standings. But for Milford, they come into this matchup with plenty of momentum on their side. What a huge statement week it was for the Scarlet Hawks last week, facing off against not one but two first-place teams in their games here in Milford last week. First, it was the Canton Bulldogs, and it was a victory for Milford 45-44 at the buzzer. And then for Milford on Friday night, they welcomed in a team tied with Canton for first place in the division in the Foxborough Warriors. Foxborough coming in with 14 wins on the season, but Milford walking away with again another statement victory, this time 59-51. Milford, after a rough start to the game and after Joe Morrison, the senior captain for Foxborough, went off for 20 first half points, Milford was really able to iron things out defensively and at one point turned a deficit into a 14-point lead into the fourth quarter before ultimately settling for the 59-51 win. So all in all, it was an absolutely crucial week of success for Milford that now has them overall on the season back to the 500 mark at 8-8. They are 6-8 within league play, and with 4 games remaining on their schedule now, they need 2 wins over these final 4 games if they want to officially secure their spot in the playoffs. So something important for this team to look at as they move into another important week. Their final 2 matchups against Davenport Division opponents come up this week. Tonight it's North Attleboro, then on Friday it's Sharon. So as good as a week as it was, and it was a terrific week for Milford last week, there is still work to be done. This team has not assured themselves a playoff spot just yet. So they have to continue to focus, they have to continue to play hard, and they have to execute the way they have done over the last couple of games if they want to finish off the deal and earn a trip to the MIAA playoff tournament for a 3rd consecutive season. And meanwhile, as we look over to the North Attleboro side, the scenario for the Rocketeers is basically identical to what Milford faces. Not only do these two teams come in right up against one another in the standings, they essentially have the same identical record. Both teams are 8-8 overall on the season, 6-8 within league play. And so North Attleboro also needing 2 victories to close out their final 4 games of the season in order to earn a playoff spot. And it's a very difficult road for North Attleboro as we look at their final 4 games, of course, here tonight at Milford. Then they will travel to Foxborough to take on the Warriors before returning home to take on the high-flying offense of Attleboro before facing off against a non-conference opponent in Bishop Feion to close out the season. So both of these teams needing 2 victories over their final 4 games, and it's a very tough schedule for North Attleboro. So that is certainly going to put a lot of emphasis on the Rocketeers tonight to try to come in here to Milford and earn a tough, gritty victory on the road. Milford did claim the victory when these two teams played earlier on in the season. That was back on January 16th, a 49-36 win. It was a very low-scoring game through the first half, 16-14 at the break. But Milford was able to come out and outscore North Attleboro 35-20 over the course of the second half to earn the victory. Brendan White had a good night offensively with 16 points. Caden Kelly and Andrew Frioli also took care of business down low. And so Milford hoping to replicate the success that they have enjoyed against North Attleboro, not only in their earlier matchup this season, but this has been a matchup that has tended to go Milford's way in recent years. The only loss that Milford has against North Attleboro in their last 4 matchups came back on February 17th of last year, a 66-45 win for North Attleboro in their home gym. Other than that, it has been 3 out of 4 victories for the Scarlet Hawks. They were able to defeat North Attleboro 75-63 back in their lone matchup in 2016. They won the other matchup in 2017 by a final score of 57-55. And then, of course, winning earlier this season. So the Scarlet Hawks hoping to keep that same level of success going, as both of these teams technically tied for 3rd place. But again, Milford with that head-to-head victory, an all-important head-to-head victory against North Attleboro from earlier on in this season. And also some more good news for the Scarlet Hawks coming into this game, as we will see the return of senior captain Shane Cosquette on the floor tonight. Shane was medically cleared to return to the Scarlet Hawks lineup, and so the senior captain will have a minutes restriction here. We're not sure exactly how Coach Seaver is going to utilize Cosquette as the game goes on here tonight. We'll likely see him off the bench again in a limited role. But very good news to get the senior captain back out there on the floor. He has been such an emotional leader for this team over his 4 years with the Scarlet Hawks. So it should be a very good matchup here tonight between two teams that are starving for a playoff spot here in the waning days of the regular season. It is the North Attleboro Rocketeers visiting your Milford Scarlet Hawks. And we will have the starting fives and the opening tip for this game when we come back next. So stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics right here on Milford TV. It is Tuesday night here in the Milford gym, and these fans are ready to roll, giving the Scarlet Hawks a nice late season push. The fans have been amped up, seeing a lot of home games here over the last couple of weeks, and about to see a good one here tonight between Milford and North Attleboro. The starting fives before we get started for North, it's Josh Montague, Chad Peterson, Derek Shanks, Ethan Freeberg, and Jake Peterson. And for the Scarlet Hawks, it is Brendan White, Andrew Fraioli, Brendan Saylor, Caden Kelly, and Zach Tomorrow, as Tim Coet and Neelan Reisman bring you the coverage tonight of Scarlet Hawks athletics. Milford controls the tip, and Neelan, should be a very entertaining ball game between two teams that have had sort of similar seasons that have unfolded to this point.
Oh, I'm hoping so. It seems like it's going to be a very competitive matchup. Both teams, a lot of different, similar play styles when you really break it down. Very close in points per game and opponents' points per game. And maybe it's more of a who can pull it out and stay together for the longest to win this one.
Brendan White trying to find a lane inside as the shot clock ticks down to 5 seconds. Someone needing to toss up a shot. It's Brendan White from beyond the arc and gets it to bank home. And now Milford immediately putting the pressure on in the backcourt. North Attleboro able to advance. They swing the ball into the hands of their points leader, Josh Montague. Now the ball pops loose, but North able to recover as Chad Peterson goes to track it down just in front of the scorer's table. The Milford fans at full volume here, just a minute into the action. Contested shot hits off the front of the rim. The ball loose on the floor, a scrum for it. And we'll have a jump ball called for.
Seems like gonna go to North Attleboro.
So North will inbound from behind their own basket. High feed, just barely pulled down. Plenty of time left on the shot clock as that one's tossed up, and Milford able to grab the defensive rebound and now quickly back up the floor. Milford trying their luck again from beyond the arc, and no good that time. And North Attleboro now with just under 6.5 minutes to play.
North Attleboro still trying to put the first points in.
Try a deep three that time from Chad Peterson, no good. Chad Peterson, of course, very gifted player on the football field. He's been a 3-year starter at quarterback for the Rocketeers football team, has set all sorts of school records in that department, as Brendan Saylor knocks down Milford's second three-pointer of this quarter. And the Hawks able to take an early 6-point lead, trying for the quick trap in the corner. North still trying to advance the ball out of the backcourt.
Peterson, a big football player, but he definitely can play basketball too. He's tall, big, lengthy, can use his body. He's got his, the only double-double for North Attleboro with a 26 points, 11 boards. So it might not be fully consistent night in and night out, but if Milford can't keep their eye on him, he could definitely spark.
Meanwhile, Andrew Fraioli now at the free throw line after Milford forced the turnover at midcourt, turning good offense into even better defense, putting a lot of pressure on and forcing the North Attleboro mistake.
Seaver talking to Saylor and Tomorrow during that first free throw shot. Milford off to a 7-0 run. Good way to start off the game for sure.
1 for 2 shooting free throws for Fraioli. Free throws were such an instrumental part of Milford's victory over Foxborough last Friday night.
Seemed like Montague just lost control right there, dribbled right into, seemed like it was Fraioli. Unable to put up a shot and just ends up falling, chucking the ball out of bounds, giving Milford a possession.
North has had to revamp their roster on the fly as Here, North Attleboro is able to draw the offensive foul on Brendan Saylor.
Seems like he might have given him a little bit of elbow room right there.
North returning just one starter from last year's team, that is Chad Peterson. So their depth has been tested, but they've remained competitive in the league. Still within striking distance of a playoff spot. As that was Montague working his way inside, ultimately drawing the contact.
For a team that's lost only four of their 5 starters last year, they only have 2 seniors this year. So they definitely, might be a good program or good coaching, but to come out and do the way and play the way they've played.
Perfect from the line on that trip for Montague. The first points of the night for the Rocketeers, now a 7-2 score. Still plenty of time left in this first quarter as we tick down to the 5-minute mark. Saylor finding Tomorrow in the corner, now gets it right back. Saylor now cutting inside before sending the no-look pass to Kelly. Eventually the shot taken by White, but it hits off the side of the rim. Now North Attleboro able to get up quickly in transition this time.
Beautiful defense by Kelly right there, avoiding that hook shot to go in.
Fraioli handing off to Saylor, in some trouble, pinned up against the sideline, able to get away.
Trying to force himself through the right side, had the left lane open.
Now Fraioli trying to cut to the basket, but they wave the shot off.
We see our first substitutions of the game. 3 players from North Attleboro getting ready to check in.
Chad Peterson, who was called for the foul, heads to the bench. So big personnel swing for North Attleboro here early. Inbounds pass finds Tomorrow. Now Kelly out on the perimeter, gives way to Saylor. Kelly now gets it to Tomorrow. His first 3-point attempt of the night is good. And Milford has been hot from long range so far.
Applying high amounts of pressure in the early games, definitely one of the things that Milford can do best, whether it's press or their 2-3 zone. Their defense is lethal, can cause a lot of turnovers.
Now a long 2 hoisted up by North Attleboro, rims out. Bad luck for Matt Seavey, 6'2" junior. Milford trying to seize control of this game early. White, nice pass back outside to Saylor. Shot looked good, but did not land this time for Brendan. Now another foul is called for. The 3rd foul in the quarter on North Attleboro. And now Fraioli fighting for that inbounds pass. Seavey was there, but Milford was able to hang on, and eventually the runner to the basket for Brendan White puts him up to 5 points and puts Milford into a 10-point advantage. North spreading out Milford that time. The shot from the corner is no good.
Montague missing that one, and I would not want to leave him open. Leading scorer for North Attleboro. We're going to give him wide open 3s, and especially for a guard, so you know he can shoot.
And North Attleboro's had some good looks in this quarter. They just haven't had a whole lot of luck shooting the basketball, as Caden Kelly announces his presence in the game. And it's now a 14-2 lead for Milford. North able to get up the floor quickly. A nifty move to the basket again for Montague, but just cannot get the shot to fall.
Seems like both teams are on opposite sides of the spectrum right now. They're going to call it travel on a 3-point shot from Tamar right there. And we're going to see our first substitution from Milford as Joey Everett's going to substitute for Caden Kelly.
There's another good shot from Zach Tomorrow, and Zach Tomorrow has certainly been a presence for this team offensively in this last 6-game stretch. There is no question that part of the reason that Milford has found so much success here late in the season has been thanks to the outside shooting starting to wake up for Zach Tomorrow. He was such a good sharpshooter for this team off the bench the last couple of years, seemed to struggle with this shot early on in this season, but he's found it just at the right time as Montague misses another good look. The initial rebound went to Seavey. Seavey's second chance effort, no good.
And all 5 players on this court right now can definitely shoot the long ball.
Now here's Tomorrow going to the basket. He gets fouled.
Nice take, able to avoid the block, putting it a little bit higher up on the backboard. And Joey DeMarco is going to be going to the scorer's table along with 2 more North Attleboro, or 1 more North Attleboro substitute.
Tomorrow knocking down his first free throw with 1 minute and 50 seconds left to go in quarter number 1.
The way Milford's been playing right now definitely proves why they've beaten the 2 top leagues in the Davenport. Able to pull an upset off of Canton and come out and beat Foxborough. And now to pull out to a 16-2 run against North Attleboro, who's also a 500 team.
And obviously a stark contrast to the start of this game versus how those 2 games started last week. Both games against Canton and Foxborough. Milford really struggled to get their offense going, trailed by 7 points or more in the first quarter in each of those 2 games before coming back. It's a different story here tonight. The offense starting off very hot, 16-2, as Saylor gives that one away. Now tries to get himself positioned defensively. And North Attleboro finally able to come through. Their first points from the floor, courtesy of Jake Peterson.
Milford definitely knows how to find baskets when needed, but it's consistency that's always decided to put them in the hole. Managing a very large lead against North Attleboro. Attleboro. And hopefully this doesn't turn into the same way that game ended, but they got off to a very large first quarter lead, ended up going into halftime. And 22-0 run by Attleboro, giving them the win.
And meanwhile, the roars from the crowd are for the senior captain, Shane Cosquet, out on the floor for the first time since injuring the wrist early on in the season. The Milford crowd loving to see Cosquet back out there, trying to get back into form in time for the playoffs. We don't know how much we will see of Cosquet tonight. But a welcome sight to see him back in uniform and back out on the floor. Has the basketball in his hands here as we tick down to the final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Joey Everett in some trouble just in front of the North Attleboro bench, and Coach Seaver calls the first time out of the game. It comes with 34.4 seconds to go in the first quarter. Milford up 16-4 on North Attleboro. We will take the timeout as well. Back with more in a moment here on Milford TV. Ball back in play with 30 seconds now left in the first quarter. Cosquet surveying his options. Now it's Everett with a quick swing outside to Tomorrow. No good. Here's Frioli with the rebound and the putback. The first points from the floor for the senior in this quarter. And now up to an 18-point first quarter total for Milford. Final 5 seconds of the quarter. North trying to get something up before the buzzer.
I think he might have stepped out of bounds. Half a second left. Milford's going to try to, maybe they might not take the last shot, but anything's possible. They're going to hold it out. And that's the end of the first quarter.
So just a quick handoff as those final 0.5 seconds tick down. So an 18-4 start to this game. And again, talking about it a moment ago, Nealon, it was a struggle offensively for Milford in the early going of those 2 games last week. Had to expend a lot of energy to come back. Eventually they did. Eventually they were able to take control, but a much better way to start the game, really dictating the pace of that first quarter the way Milford just did.
Yeah, and I say this all the time. It was a beautiful first quarter, but you still have 3 quarters left. You know North Attleboro is going to come out with adjustments and try to find ways to maybe chip into the lead, get back into the game. 14-point lead so far, and if Milford can keep it together and pull away, then this game's going to be over a lot sooner than a lot of people thought.
And just taking a quick look at how the offense went down for Milford. They were able to get a lot of players activated on offense there through that first 8 minutes. 5 points so far for Brendan White, 3 for Fraioli, 3 for Saylor, 2 points for Kelly, and 5 points for Zach Tomorrow. Shooting 3 out of 4 from the free throw line, so doing a lot of things well offensively.
Yeah, and this is a team with 3 double-digit scores, and with Caden Kelly, Andrew Frioli, and Brendan White, so they definitely know, and they have options to go to. But not only those 3 people, you got Brendan Saylor. Now you can add Shane Cosquette into the option. He's a very good shooter when he gets hot. There are a lot of people you can go to for Milford, and that's one of the main reasons they've been able to pull off such big wins like Canton and Foxborough.
And so now set to get started here in the second quarter. Milford comes out with the same personnel group that concluded the first quarter. White, Cosquette, DeMarco, Everett, and Kelly.
Cosquette trying to give a nice pass to White on that cut, and that's definitely White's favorite move, is that backdoor cut. Able to get through a lot of his defenders and catch him off guard, but unable to work right there, and beautiful defense by Milford.
Kelly trying to find a way inside. White looping the pass to Cosquette. The two go back and forth. White doesn't like the look, dribbles inside, and gets the shot to rumble through. Now 7 points in the half for Brendan White.
Pushing that lead out to 16. And
eventually the shots will start falling for North Attleboro. As we mentioned, they had some decent looks through that first quarter. A lot of bad luck around the rim, so this Milford defense has to continue to play tough.
That they're going to give a travel call, and like you said, Tim, I don't really think anyone's going to expect North Attleboro to put up 10 points in 32 minutes. But so far they're struggling, and I mean, the later you get into the game before North Attleboro can start hitting shots, that just gives Milford more time to go ahead in the game.
No sign of the Milford offense slowing down so far.
Call a push in the back on Jake Peterson right there. Shane Cosquette coming out of the game.
So good results so far for Cosquette in limited minutes. We'll see how much more action Cosquette sees on the floor as this game progresses. Saylor back out there. North Attleboro playing some tight defense. Joey Everett finds a little bit of room. His three-point shot, no good.
Seems like a little bit of a tangle up. I think they're either going to give that, they're going to give that to Brendan White right there.
White getting locked up with Jake Peterson, 6'6" junior. 2 6'6" players on this North Attleboro roster. Peterson along with Owen Nasani. It's Nasani who will shoot from outside off the back of the rim. Rebound settled by the Scarlet Hawks. Long pass looking for Tomorrow in the corner, but too far out in front. Ends up amongst the fans, so North will now inbound with 6:06 to play in the half.
North still unable to put up their first points of the quarter.
It's back in the hands of Josh Montague, who has just 2 points so far. They came from the free throw line. Guarded closely by Saylor, who looked to jar that ball loose, but made just enough contact to draw the foul.
When you're playing a team like Milford, and you're a guard like Montague, if you're unable to put the ball in the basket from the arc or mid-range, you're going to have a even harder time trying to put it in with layups. Caden Kelly and Andrew Frioli, 2 dominant post defenders. And if there's one thing that teams struggle against Milford all the time, is able to get points in transition and inside.
Another travel call. Possession swings back to the Scarlet Hawks with 5:41 to go in the half. Coach Seaver active on the sidelines. On the other side, it's Sean Mulkerin's the head coach for the North Attleboro Rocketeers, guiding his team through a bit of a rebuilding season, but again, still decent win-loss total. It's a sign of good coaching to be able to guide a young, inexperienced team through a season and keep them in the playoff hunt. North Attleboro quickly pushing the floor, and a nice play and finish at the rim for Jake Peterson.
A little bit of an alley-oop right there. Able to play fancy on the offense.
That's what having a 6'6" forward will do for your offense. Athletic move to the rim for the junior.
That gives North Attleboro their first points of the quarter. Still 20-6 as we approach the 5-minute mark.
Milford offense slowing down just a bit compared to what we saw in the first quarter. Looking to stay focused. Now the cheerleaders trying to bring some life back into the building as everyone had quieted down after that hot start. Kelly misses inside and now looks to take an elbow up around the face.
They're going to call that on Kelly right there. I don't think they're going to be happy with that call.
Saw the head snap back as the elbow came up. Said Kelly will take a seat on the bench.
Both teams only 2 points in the quarter.
Here's Peterson again inside. And so North Attleboro starting to make those adjustments using the length of Jake Peterson inside. He's now up to 6 points in the half.
Applying heavy on-ball, off-ball pressure as well. And
Fraioli forcing his way in, gets the bucket.
Tough shot, jumping into, I think, 3 guys right there.
It's just more of the confidence that Fraioli has shown throughout the second half. Dribbling a couple of steps inside, releasing the shot, no good for North.
And Saylor right there giving it right to Montague. A little bit of a push off, but Montague able to push that off the backboard and get it in.
He's able to time the jump, clear himself of Saylor. 4 first half points for Montague, and now Steve Sutherland in the game for the Scarlet Hawks as the 3 ball is unleashed, counted again for Zach Tomorrow. Zach now up to 8 points in the half as timeout is called on the floor with the score now 25-10, a 15-point Scarlet Hawks lead. As we come down to the final 3 minutes of the half, we'll be back with more as you enjoy coverage of Milford High School athletics right here on Milford TV. Late stages of the first half here in Milford. Shane Cosquet back out on the floor for the Hawks. As now he comes up with the steal all alone, takes it to the basket, and Shane Cosquet gets himself back on the score sheet for the first time since early on in this season. And immediately another timeout is called. And you can see just how close-knit this team has gotten over the course of this season, Neil, and you see the players coming out excited to see their senior captain back out there and having success. And just good to see the team unity here at such a crucial point in the season.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic player, but not only is he talented, but he's definitely a team player. And that whole team is like family to one another. And the more you get to know each other, the better you play on and off the court.
I think maybe an interesting point when you look back again to the early point of the season. It's something that we've talked about quite a bit over these last couple of weeks as we've gotten to see much more of this team. With a lot of new pieces and a different looking offense early on in the year, sometimes it just takes some time to get used to one another. And there's no question this team is used to one another now. There's a lot of trust out there on the floor. Everyone has a better understanding of each other's skill sets and coming together at the right time for the Scarlet Hawks, and they hope that continues here over this final 4-game stretch. Looking good so far here tonight with the 27-10 lead as North sends the ball back into play now with just under 3 minutes to play until halftime.
No signs of slowing down so far, and this is what I like to see.
North Attleboro able to come through with the bucket.
It's been a 9-8 quarter. Milford with that lead still going now, pushing it to 15.
Ball tipped into the backcourt. White able to track it down. Shot clock down to 10. Milford trying to feed it inside to Sutherland. And the whistle stops the clock at 2:25.
It's been a lot of in-your-face defense from North Attleboro. Whether they have the ball or not, they're always in the face of each and every Milford player on the court. Definitely not working to the best of their ability, but it's getting into Milford.
Steve Sutherland at the line, short rims. The first attempt of the 1-and-1.
Still 2 minutes left to go in that 1-and-1, and maybe even double bonus later on is definitely going to help out.
That's Peterson able to find Adam Falcone racing towards the basket, but good defense down low for the Scarlet Hawks. Now back up the floor with under 2 minutes to go. The ball squirts loose out of the hands of White, but another whistle. The fouls starting to pile up here at the end of the half.
Caden Kelly and Joey Everett at the scorer's table. Seems like Joey Everett's going to be substituting in for Brendan White, but Steve Sutherland's going to check out the game for Caden Kelly.
Kelly leaving after picking up that questionable foul earlier in the quarter.
In that first free throw, and you may be up by 16, but every point matters, and free throws are definitely going to be important. If you can hit your free throws and drive yourself even out to a 20-point lead at the half, Milford's definitely got a lot of leverage going into that second half.
One more free throw to go for White.
Now he'll check out of the game, going 2 for 2.
Milford shooting 5 out of 7 free throws so far here in the half. And more backcourt pressure put on by the Scarlet Hawks. North able to break it. Now it's Peterson back to the rim. And he draws the whistle.
We'll call a late shooting foul on, seems like Frioli right there.
So now Jake Peterson, the junior, at the line.
Peterson making the first free throw.
Puts him up to 7 points in the half with one more free throw coming up.
More than half their points scored from Peterson, and Montague's got 4 if I'm not mistaken, so only 3 people scoring points for
Cosquet now gets it back, gets it to Everett now. Trying to find a way to get Tomorrow open. Tosses up a long 3. Ball ends up out of play.
Seems like North Attleboro is playing a high press 2-3 zone, and if you want to beat it, and what Milford was doing right there is trying to cross-court swing it. And if you can swing it side to side and maybe even get a down low option working, then you're going to be able to score easy points. Montague able to take that in and score his 3rd basket of the night.
Definitely a better offensive period for North Attleboro after scoring just 4 points in the first 8 minutes. Here's Frioli, again with a couple of defenders draped around him. Could not land the shot that time.
And they're going to call that in on Caden Kelly right there. Montague starting to heat up right about now.
Meanwhile, Caden Kelly starting to get himself into some foul trouble. First free throw, no good for Josh Montague.
He'll miss both. Caden Kelly coming down with the rebound.
Costly misses for North Attleboro, who continues to trail. The lead for Milford, 13. Brendan White takes the contested jumper, no good. Caden Kelly just outworks North for the rebound. Sets up the three for Brendan Saylor. So a couple of misses for the Scarlet Hawks, and now the shot clock turned off as North Attleboro comes back up the floor for what could be the final shot of this first half. It's Montague. He will take it all the way to the basket.
10 seconds remaining. Let's see what Milford's got up their sleeve for this last shot.
In the hands of Saylor. Saylor, a little bit of indecision, gets it to Fraioli, and Fraioli able to bank it in just before the buzzer. And so the Scarlet Hawks able to get themselves up over the 30-point mark as we reach the intermission. So 31-18 the score. A little bit of adjustments made offensively for North Attleboro there to have some more success in the second quarter, Nealon, but overall this still seems like a game that Milford is fully in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and they haven't given up yet, but North Attleboro definitely came out in the second quarter playing a lot better basketball than they did in the first. Only 4 points in the first quarter. Managing to put 14 points up in that second quarter. And I don't really think anyone was expecting North Attleboro to come out that Dudley in the second. And offense definitely stepped up. Their defense started to play a lot better in the end of the second quarter. But now it's going to be who can come out in the second half, who can come out of that locker room and finish the game strong.
So it ended up being North Attleboro who edged out Milford 14-13 in that second quarter, so it's tightened up the score just a bit, 31-18 as we reach the break, but still a lot of good for Milford, and they'll hope to continue that on into the second half. We will have the start of the third quarter when we return next. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford High School athletics right here on Milford TV. Welcome back inside the Milford gym. It is time for the second half to get started between the Milford Scarlet Hawks and the North Attleboro Rocketeers. As you see on the screen right now, a 31-18 lead for Milford. But North Attleboro showing signs of life late in the first half, trying to steal momentum back after falling behind 18-4 after the first 8 minutes. Tim Coed and Nealon Reisman here on the call. And so Nealon, key for Milford to come out strong here to continue to dictate pace as we get into the second half.
And that beautiful alley-oop put in for Andrew Fraioli is definitely a good way to start off the second half. And that turnover is definitely going to add to it.
And once again, the Jungle raising their voices. It's been a lively crowd as always.
And that crowd can always play a part in dictating the tempo. The louder the fans, the better you might play.
So an exchange of turnovers after Fraioli gave it away. Milford gets it back. White takes it to the basket. Cannot get the shot, but will have a chance from the free throw line.
He went in fast and almost took out one of the cameramen.
A full Milford TV crew on hand. Malcolm Zale and Patrick Garapi manning the sidelines, doing an excellent job.
Brendan White's definitely got the force of a truck, so I don't think Malcolm would like to get railed into the wall. Able to avoid the contact.
Two more successful free throws for Brendan White, who's 4 out of 4 so far in the game. Freiberg sending it back to Montague. Montague really started to heat up in the closing seconds of the half. Caden Kelly, so good keeping that ball in play, sent it right to Brendan Saylor. Saylor sends it into the corner for tomorrow. No luck that time for Zach, but Brendan White hauls in the offensive board.
So far, so good for Milford.
Taking time off the clock. As This time it's Brendan White trying his luck from the corner. He has his shot blocked. Milford continues to keep it alive, and White finishes at the rack.
Third time's a charm right there. Milford continues to avoid North Attleboro scoring. Beautiful spin move by Brendan Saylor right there as they're pushing down the court.
Milford just out hustling North Attleboro right now, looking for a huge blow from the three-point line from Tomorrow. Tomorrow misses, but another offensive rebound keeps things going. And so right now, Milford just cleaning up on the glass, forcing turnovers. Right now giving North Attleboro all they can handle, and an early timeout is called with 5 minutes and 51 seconds still to go in the third quarter. We'll take a quick peek at what's going on in the Hockomock League standings as we come down to the final days of the regular season. There are a lot of teams already playoff bound. Canton and Foxborough in the Davenport division, Mansfield, Franklin, Attleboro, and Taunton all out of the Kelly Rex, all headed to their respective playoff brackets. And a potential for 2 more teams to still sneak in there, and those 2 teams are the ones that are right now out here on the floor. Milford and North Attleboro both with 8-8 records, both 6-8 within league play. Milford, after this game here tonight, will have 3 more games. They'll close out the division portion of their schedule on Friday with their final road game of the year. That one will take them to Sharon High School to take on Malik Lorquette and the Eagles, and then it will be back home, finishing out the schedule with another edition of the Scarlet Hawk Classic Tournament, this time at the end of the regular season. They've moved that tournament around the last few years. We've seen it played at times during the holiday break. This year playing it right at the end of the regular season, which was what they did a couple of years ago.
And Milford able to play Sharon, who they've beaten, and they've beaten North Attleboro. And if they can pull back-to-back wins, not only are they going to be looking at a playoff opportunity, but definitely a lower seed. One of their better records going into the tournament is the past 2 years, both finishing 10-10.
Here's Tomorrow from 3 as Milford worked that shot clock down, but eventually the shot lands. Tomorrow, 3 3-pointers so far in the game, and North Attleboro able to get a little bit back courtesy of Matt Seavey.
Scoring their first points of the quarter. Milford still holding on to a 20-point lead, and in and out.
Very close for the Scarlet Hawks, who are up to an even 20-point lead, 40-20.
Now the last time these 2 teams played, Milford playing outstanding defense, only allowing 36 points. And the way it's going tonight, it looks like they might be able to hold them under 30, to be honest.
They force another steal. It's Caden Kelly this time, finds Tomorrow. Tomorrow releases the shot, rims out, a fight for the rebound. Milford wins it, and it's Brendan White who emerges from the pile.
Putting that lead out to 22 as we near the halfway point of the third quarter.
15 points in the game now for Brendan White. Settling down for the jumper was Matt Seavey, but the shooting woes continue for the Rocketeers. And this game with the potential to get ugly with the pressure that Milford is putting on right now. Here's White, he'll toss up a 3. A little too strong on the shot, but the rebounds continue to go the Scarlet Hawks' way. Now Saylor finding Tomorrow.
I think they're going to call that a blocking foul on North Attleboro right there. Handed off to Adam Falcon. Speaking of Falcon, Cam Falcon's going to check in for the first time for Milford, along with Steve Sutherland. And the way the 3-point shots have been going for Milford, Cam Falcon is definitely the first person you want to see coming off the bench in a hot shot game for Milford.
Saylor tries to loop that inbounds pass in, taking a little bit too long, and Milford turns it over. And so you have the scenario everyone was hoping for tonight, with Falcone on the floor for North Attleboro, Falcon on the floor for Milford. Going up against one another a moment ago. Adam Falcone, number 11. And underneath the basket, Sutherland tries to save it, but he stepped on the end line. But that's more of the hustle and intensity that Milford has been bringing tonight. So you thought could there possibly be a letdown after 2 huge games last week against top of the division opponents, but Milford playing with the same fire that brought them success last week. They are looking to play their best basketball here where it means the most to get them into the playoffs.
And they are not disappointing it at all. Going to hold that to a shot clock violation. And this defense by Milford, not only in the third quarter, but the whole quarter alone has been absolutely suffocating.
Meanwhile, half the North Attleboro team headed towards the bench before Coach Mulkerins even called for the timeout. This is a team looking absolutely dejected out on the floor right now. Milford is just doing absolutely everything they want to do out there. A 42-20 lead. We'll take the timeout. Back with more next here on Milford TV. Out of the timeout, Milford feeling good in this one so far tonight against the Rocketeers. Looking for a sweep of the 2-game regular season series. Here's tomorrow cutting towards the basket.
Shane Cosquet back in the game. He's definitely played, even in restricted minutes, played fantastic.
It's not looked like he has missed the bulk of the season. Got the heads up from Coach Seaver earlier this afternoon that Cosquet would return. He has not played in a game since December 30th, finally getting back out there tonight.
In the way he's been playing tonight, seems like that injury never happened. And just the team in general able to work around the injury has been nice to see. So having him back is definitely going to be a bigger threat than usual.
North Attleboro getting the ball back in play, swinging it into the corner, trying to get something going.
The only thing they're going to get going is that turnover right there. Milford back in transition.
Right now, with the personnel that North has out on the court, they're giving up a lot of size to Milford, with the exception of down low with Nasani.
They're going to call a foul on NA. It seemed like he was holding on to the arm of Joey Everett. With that 4 fouls in total, Peterson's going to check back in the game.
Replacing Jonathan James. Cosquet on inbounds duty with 2:39 to play in the third. Able to find Fraioli.
You got the tallest man and the smallest man on the court right now matching up against each other, and he's going to take full advantage.
The foul was called as help arrived, seeing the distinct size mismatch.
They're going to call the foul on Evan Rosenberg. Falcone's going to come out.
They lob it back into Fraioli using his height. Now in the hands of Falcon to Cosquet. Cosquet trying to get around Montague. Now they leave it behind for Cam Falcon. His first shot attempt of the night rims out. We've seen Falcon start a couple of games here recently, but coming in off the bench tonight. Peterson right back out to Montague. Wind that up perfectly. The first 3 ball of the night, the first points of the second half for Montague. Just 5 points in total so far in this third quarter for the Rocketeers. So after that spike in offense in the second quarter, it's been another struggle.
Milford still holding on to that 43-23 lead. Brendan White and Steve Sutherland at the scorer's table getting ready to check in.
Trying to use Montague outside again. Passed up the shot this time, and North Attleboro ends up with another giveaway. Ticking down to the final minute of the third quarter as Joey Everett lowers his head, takes a couple of steps inside, misses the shot.
Approaching under a minute to go in the game, or quarter.
North continuing to try to feed Montague. And the same result yet again. Montague passes up the shot, and North Attleboro ends up with the turnover. And an opportunity for Milford to build on a 20-point lead. Tomorrow gives it to Falcon. Falcon from long range ends up missing the shot. The whistle stops the clock with 34.7 to go. And now we'll see the substitutions come in. Saylor and Sutherland back out there. Joey DeMarco back out on the floor. About a 4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. And cutting inside was Evan Rosenberg, but Brendan White rejects the shot.
Try to set a screen, and Brendan White's right there, hedging that, able to make a great defensive effort, blocking it, giving Milford a chance for the last shot.
In the hands of DeMarco. Now back to Saylor. 2 seconds left. Will we see a shot? Saylor able to release, almost gets it to fall. A last-ditch effort from Saylor, and it nearly went in, but regardless, another impressive period of play for the Scarlet Hawks. And Nealon, it's just been a solid night all the way around for the Scarlet Hawks so far. Right now, defensively, allowing next to nothing for North Attleboro in that period, and offensively, really in all aspects of the game, they've been dazzling.
Yeah, and a 20-point lead entering this fourth quarter, and if the window is not already closed, it's certainly getting really close to closing for North Attleboro for any chance of a comeback. And it's been an all-around great game from almost everyone that's been in and out of the court from Milford. North Attleboro struggling to find shots, turning the ball over a lot. I mean, if they could hit shots like they've been committing turnovers, this would be a lot different of a game. But Milford playing very consistent. 8 minutes left to go, and if they can hold out tough and just maybe even increase the lead, who says that they have to stop at 20? Maybe you want to go for 30. But I'd definitely come in with the mindset of just don't let them come back. Increase the lead as much as you can, and go back into the locker room going above 500.
Certainly positioning themselves well with 8 minutes to go in this game. As we look back to the final score between these two teams from back on January 16th, it was a 49-36 win on that night for Milford on the road, already with 43 points here and a full quarter left to play. An opportunity to have an even better night offensively as Saylor just absolutely abuses his defender and finishes at the rim.
That was a beautiful spin move.
Now it's North trying to push the tempo up the floor. Montague takes it to the basket.
Seems to be, him and Peterson seem to be the only one with answers for North Attleboro so far. And you can never run a team with around two people, because like tonight, that's never going to be the answer, is a win.
Missing the free throw. That's the third miss from the free throw line tonight for Montague. Milford with Kelly, Fraioli, DeMarco, Saylor, and Brendan White, who tossed up the shot there. No good defensive rebound collected by Chad Peterson. They go right back to Montague, who now sends it out to Rosenberg. It's Peterson, Chad Peterson, who releases the shot. Offline and back to Milford with now 7 minutes left to go in this basketball game. Fraioli getting his pocket pick. Chad Peterson up ahead, trying to blast his way through three defenders, and ends up getting fouled.
Call that on Joey DeMarco.
And now timeout is called. And you made the point a moment ago, Nealon, and it was a good one, with the focal point of the North Attleboro offense really being Josh Montague. And as you take a look at the score sheet for North Attleboro, it's only a total of 4 players that have made it onto that score sheet, with the bulk of the work being done by Montague. 2 points for Chad Peterson. You have 8 points for Jake Peterson and 2 points for Matt Seavey. On the other side, it has been a much more diverse offensive attack. Shane Cusquet, Brendan White, Andrew Fraioli, Brendan Saylor, Caden Kelly, and Zach Tomorrow all making it onto the score sheet. And that's really what's made Milford so dangerous in the second half, Nealon, is the fact that they have really not relied on one guy. It has been up and down the roster each and every night contributing on offense for the Scarlet Hawks.
Well, you know, good teams can maybe have 1 or 2 people who can score 20 points, maybe around 15. But if you can have 5, 6, maybe even 7 that can score 6, 7, some in the double digits, then you're set, because maybe sometimes those double-digit players aren't going to put up the points that they've been averaging. And then you can rely on people coming off the bench who can maybe find a way to score 10, 12 points. And it helps. If you can find depth in scoring, then it's going to be a major part in trying to win games.
Chad Peterson at the line. He's able to make the free throw. And also interesting to note that with all of the scoring that Milford has done in this game, Caden Kelly has just 2 points. So the Hawks have gotten it done without many contributions from Caden Kelly, who leads the league in double-doubles. Will not get one here tonight unless he goes on a big-time run here in the fourth quarter.
And that's always possible when you're a player like him.
It's the one thing that makes the prospect of this Scarlet Hawks team making it into the playoffs so interesting. You think about last year and how dependent the Milford offense was, particularly on Zach Tamani and also Anthony Arcudi. And if you shut down those players, you had a good chance of coming away with a victory against Milford. It's a lot harder to find a way to completely shut down this Milford offense the way they've been playing over this last 5 or 6 game stretch.
Yeah, and I remember a lot of people were even worried when Tamani and Arcudi were leaving. They were very lethal shooters. They could shoot outside the arc. They were able to take it in, find ways to score. And I definitely think that Brendan White's transitioned into a great offensive player. Caden Kelly's always become an improving, whether it's inside or even his jump shot. Andrew Frioli was a great transfer to get, along with Brendan Saylor and Joey Everett. So they definitely picked up some key pieces, but this is probably one of their better teams out of the 3 years they've been in the tournament. They'll definitely be exciting to watch.
They need 2 more wins to guarantee their spot in that Division II Central bracket. And they're a few minutes away from collecting one of those victories here tonight. Montague, not quite enough on that 3-point attempt.
Well, then you're working with teams like Sharon, who they almost pulled a 20-point victory out of. And they've beaten Tant Squad the past few matchups.
It's continued to be a struggle defensively for Sharon this season, allowing 66.3 points per night.
They're 1-13 in league.
It's been a difficult season, losing a couple of key players that have helped them to success in recent seasons. Under 6 minutes to play here tonight. Montague wanted to release it from 3. Instead, takes the jumper from inside, adds to his point total on the night. It's 15 points now for Montague, and meanwhile, Andrew Frioli left all alone to collect easy points under the Milford basket.
Brendan Saylor with that illusion no-look pass, able to dish it out perfectly. No one was even expecting for Andrew Frioli to get that ball right there.
Quick release from 3-point range, no good for the junior Nate Gonsalves.
Shane Cosquette's going to be back at the scorer's table.
Ball tipped out of play, last touched by the Rocketeers, and now here comes Cosquette.
This is definitely going to be an exciting lineup to see 2 talented ball handlers in Saylor and Shane.
Milford going with a smaller lineup, putting Kelly on the bench, bringing Cosquette out onto the floor. It's Brendan White taking too many steps.
Coach Seaver having some words right there, and I definitely say this is an experimental lineup. Don't have size on your side, but maybe it's more of protective, trying to keep that ball together, try not to turn over, and hopefully we could see some positives out of this lineup.
Jarring the ball loose there, but North Attleboro able to recover. Pass just barely making it to Montague in the corner, now gets stripped, but too much contact for Milford. Pace of this fourth quarter starting to slow down just a bit. The Milford fans lulled to sleep with this big lead. It's currently at 18 as the floating shot doesn't fall for North. Gonsalves trying to get back into the play to force the turnover. Good awareness by Saylor. And now again, Saylor getting harassed.
Spin move has definitely been one of his favorite things to use.
Perfect from three-point range yet again for Zach Tomorrow. He's knocked down a three in every quarter tonight.
4 threes total in the game. 12 points coming off of three-pointers for Tomorrow as well.
Up to 15 total in the game. He's also shot well from the free throw line.
And he's definitely stepped it up these past few games. Had a huge game against Canton.
They'll try it again, this time from the opposite side of the floor. No good. Brendan White pulls down the rebound. Tries to feed it back out to Tomorrow, but this time the ball turned over and deflected right back into the hands of Saylor. Saylor, a little 2-on-1 up the floor with Brendan White, and White finishes.
Good defense by Montague. Unable to stop it there, but he was about to run all the way down, going coast to coast. Turns the ball over, and here comes Milford.
And all of a sudden, Milford just using their speed to outclass the Rocketeers. And for a moment there, it looked as if Fraioli might slam that one home. Instead, a little bit of a touch shot right around the rim to bring Milford's point total up to 54, 54-29. Everything going well for the Scarlet Hawks here tonight, looking to climb back over the 500 mark for the first time since much earlier in the year. 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go. We'll take the quick timeout. Back with more next here on Milford TV. The ball back in play. 3 minutes and 4 seconds left to go in this basketball game. And that lead ever growing for the Scarlet Hawks. Hook shot counted for Matt Seavey. It's his second bucket of the game. Coach Seaver has continued to demand the most out of his team here right down the stretch despite the big lead. Not wanting to see his guys lose focus. There's Andrew Fraioli just cleaning up under the basket.
He's been magnificent in this fourth quarter. You're seeing a lot of new faces on this court from Milford once ball goes dead. Kobe Tyrez and Matt Nickerson both lining up at the scorer's table for the first time tonight. This is nice to see because the more people you can get in and the more experience you have for the younger players, it pays off in the end.
Koskett hands it off to Fraioli, who then sends it to Saylor. A lot of confident ball handlers out on the court right now for the Scarlet Hawks. Release from the near corner. It's just been a rough shooting night from start to finish for the Rocketeers this evening. Saylor sees a lane to the basket, takes it. Brendan Saylor really been padding his stats in this fourth quarter, now up to 6 points in the fourth. Up to 15 points now.
They have a few double-point scorers tonight. Tomorrow is up at double digits. Brendan White's up at double digits. If I'm not mistaken, Andrew Fraioli might even be close to double digits if he's not already gotten there.
It again just speaks to the diverse offensive attack. Hoisting the shot up from three-point range. That time was Derek Shanks, the senior.
Chappelle Feaster and Danny Corsini also going to be checking into the game.
So Coach Seaver will go heavily to his bench with exactly 60 seconds left to play. Fans excited to see Chappelle Feaster at the scorer's table. We'll see if the junior gets out there before the end of the night. Off the free throw miss, the ball ricochets out into the backcourt. Corsini able to grab it. Now pinned in the corner, Milford trying to get free.
Seems like Corsini might have stepped out of bounds right there.
And with that stoppage, Chappelle Feaster does indeed enter the game. Shane Cosquet, after a very successful return, will rest up for these final seconds. So Nickerson, Feaster, Pyers, Corsini, and Sutherland, the 5 on the floor to close out this basketball game for Milford. With a 24-point lead. Here's Seavey. Puts in 2 more late points for the Rocketeers. Shot clock turned off with just 20 seconds left to go. And still playing tough defense is Adam Falcone. Sutherland to Corsini into the corner for Pyers. 7 seconds left as Milford puts the finishing touches on a tremendous effort here tonight. And the final seconds expire off the clock. There is the buzzer. And the Scarlet Hawks keep the good times rolling. They blow out the North Attleboro Rocketeers here tonight, winning by a final score of 58-36. Just utter dominance on both sides of the floor tonight, Nealon.
Yeah, it's been a great game for Milford. They were able to pull consistency throughout all 4 quarters tonight. Did not let North Attleboro have any thought or chance of trying to come back into this game. And now Milford stands at 9-8. They're going to be holding the 7-8 league record. But, I mean, if you're over 500, try to finish this game stronger. Have a lot sooner chance of getting into this tournament than North Attleboro does. North Attleboro still alive, trying to figure out a way to get back into this tournament. But it's a big win for Milford tonight. Able to push it out, their win streak to 3 wins out of the last 4 games. And
so making that 4-game losing streak a distant memory now with 3 straight victories. And Milford over 500 on the season. Now they stand just 1 victory away from officially sealing up a spot in the MIAA playoff tournament. They'll try to grab that win on the road this coming Friday. Their final road game of the year as they take on the Sharon Eagles. A 6:30 start in Sharon this Friday night. As the girls return home for their final game of the season this Friday, the girls taking on Sharon here in the Milford Gym on senior night this coming Friday. But that will wrap up our coverage here tonight. A huge thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game, our director Rob O'Keefe, and our camera operators John Giacomuzzi, Malcolm Zale, and Patrick Garapi. And for Nealon Reisman, I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, 58-36. The Scarlet Hawks defeat the North Attleboro Rocketeers. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.